saw myself in the mirror. I saw something bigger and greater out there.
It's a pleasure, and we invite you to this special interview.
Thank you once more for having me on this most unique platform. I'm well privileged to be able to explore my own talent to the world. Thank you.
Tell us your name, sir.
I'm Patmol Cole, but I goes by the name Mr. Africano because that's name is what branded me.
Okay, we care to know you are into the business of fashion.
Sure.
Good. Why you got into this?
Alright. I remember a few years back when I was in high school, Cathedral to be precise. It came this day in which we call Gala Day in high school. And most of my friends normally when it comes to Gala Day or Olympics, everybody want to wear the best of clothes. But at that identical moment, my parents never had the money to provide me with the clothes I needed because I had so many demands. So what I did, I told my mother, I said, but since we cannot get this identical thing that I want, why can't you make something of your own kind? Because she's a seamstress. She sews very well. So I asked her, I said, why can't you make something of your own kind? But trust me, I never liked African. I always wanted to wear jeans and some other things, but she made an African suit for me. And then when I went on campus, everybody tried to give me praises. Praises started coming from everywhere. Since that moment, I felt a feeling deep within me that I can be able to change my own style of doing things, to try to wear what my own mother produced and feel more comfortable in than wearing other things out there. From that moment, I started to follow the trend. Every time I come from school, I would make sure I go sit by her, watch her sewing, send me for materials. Gradually, she started to teach me. As times go by, I try to pick up. There came this day when I was in the 10th grade, and then I did a shirt. But just for myself. It's not something that I wanted to carry out just for myself. And then she told me do it this way, do it this way, do it that way. And then I did a shirt. When I wore the shirt, it was Saturday evening when I did the shirt. When I wore the shirt and then saw myself in the mirror, I looked so different, so elegant, so unique. Because I wore that shirt with my brand new shoes I never wear yet. So when I saw myself in the mirror, I looked so different. And trust me, the shirt, I just wanted to use that identical shirt just in the yard. But when I saw myself in the mirror, I saw something bigger and greater out there. So what I did, I packaged the clothes, pressed it Sunday morning, took it to church. When I went to church, again, so many praises started coming. So I never stopped there. I told myself, if I can produce this, just one piece for me, and I'm seeing praises coming from out there, I think I can do better. That's where inspiration starts from.
Good. It's a very, very, very wonderful story. One inherently formed in a traditional setting, basically speaking from the angle of your mother. But somebody will also care to know, beyond that, was there any time growing up you probably saw a fashion designer, maybe you saw a rapper who got involved with some sort of fashion related design or something that actually inspired you just beyond the mother's level of education?
Right.
Was
I remember the guy who used to sew for my father back then. He used to sew for my father. He did a wedding clothes for one of my aunties who was getting married. He had a brilliant piece. And the amazing part about it, he was somebody that I could relate to, somebody that whenever I come from school, I was able to go to him. You know, normally when he comes from school, you normally go into this uncle to give him something. But he did an amazing pieces. And then that was used on my auntie wedding. So since that time, with the exception of my mother, I thought I could relate to him more. So I used him as a guardian, as a point of contact to be able to explore my dream. So beside that, when social media started trending, when designers started putting the work out there, I followed this designer from Nigeria called Yomi Casual. He's very good, his work, everything is unique. If you look at his work, you will compare it with some of the work out there. Everything is eligible. I started following bit by bit. I followed some other Ghanaian designers, some other Liberian designers. But my own inspiration started from my mother, and then it came to my uncle before I was able to read the vision of Yomi Casual and start to work within that trend.
Growing up between the lines, somebody would care to know, when did this all start?
I got my first major start when I graduated from high school. Right after I graduated from high school.
What's the year we're talking about?
2014. Yes, 2014 when I graduated from high school. First, when I graduated from high school, I never just wanted to be the person who would just sit home with the exception of going to college. I've always been the one who wanted to like invent things, who want to see my way through, not just to be the kid from college back home. So I all started being in a mechanic shop. It was when I all started being in a mechanic shop. I was there for 2 years in a mechanic shop, and this was going on gradually, but I felt that was not my calling. Because for every time I go to work, my bosses always laugh at me. You can't be looking so neat like this and you want to be a mechanic. It doesn't work like that.
So you always want neatly dressed?
Trust me. I always came out with my best. For every day I go out, I have one notion that I'm going out with not the thought that this is a bad day for me. I was always go with every little thing to look amazing.
So where are you now, considering all of the effort, having learned, having gained the inspiration? Where can you tell people out there that you are currently in this fashion thing?
First and foremost, I want to be grateful to all those who have inspired me over the past times, those who motivated me to reach this far. But at this point, I will consider myself to be at the foundation of what I want to do. Although I was nominated for so many awards, and then I won several awards, but not to take a bigger glory, I would tell myself that I'm at the beginning, because my thought is to extend my brand out there, not only Liberia, not only Africa, but to be able to extend my brand. So if people ask me like, where are you at the present moment? Definitely my response would be, I'm just at the beginning. I'm at the beginning to explore my own talent, my thoughts, my vision when it comes to fashion to the world. So I'm nothing yet.
Well, you are somewhere somehow. But the question also that will follow is that you live in a country in which people believe in imitation so much, most especially imitating from people outside of the very country. You see people want to wear things from Nigeria, from Ghana, from everywhere else. Liberia is yet to come this unique style when it comes to dress code and other things. Right. What is your own take about this?
You are right. When it comes to imitation, most often we African, we don't believe in our own self, so we follow the trends that we see out there. But I will tell you, when it comes to fashion, all those things started from Africa. Every style you see a bigger brand producing, most of the bigger brand producing are styles that were in Africa before. Our forefathers, our ancestors used to put on, but nobody never recognized those trends because of branding. Whenever you brand yourself, you'll be able to explore yourself so that people should be able to follow. So when it comes to imitation, a lot of people imitate. But as for me, what I did is to be able to put my own flavor in my day-to-day work, not to imitate what people do out there.
So what is the flavor that is being added to what you are doing that you think Liberians, typical Liberians, can go for what you produce?
Good. Every Liberian would like to wear what Africano design produce, because my own production, it doesn't based on occasion. Every little piece that I produce is something that is unique that you can wear on a day-to-day basis. Some other brand would produce a high quality fashion outfit that you don't use this outfit on a regular basis because of the styling. So you don't use this on a regular basis. But don't get me wrong, that is excellent. But Africano design, it first with the idea that every day an individual is supposed to look good and amazing. So for every little piece that I produce, I want to make it as simple and elegant that anybody can wear on a day-to-day basis to expose the uniqueness of the self in it.
So let's talk about ensuring that the fashion design or fashion industry like Liberia gains that particular attention that it needs. How do you see this come true?
Firstly, before a country can receive such recognition, there should be a champion cause. I'm trying to say that designers within Liberia, Liberian designer outside of the country, needs to have a fixed mindset that we want to take our culture to the world. So, like the Ghanaian have a Kente club. That is a brand of Ghana. The Nigerian have a buba. The Nigerian normally they use their lace and some other fabric. That's a trend. But as for Liberia, we do have a country club. But how well are we branding this identical texture? So we Liberian designers need to come together with a champion cause and make sure and brand that identical country club and make it a household name for Liberia. So whenever people out there see country club, they know that this identical piece represents Liberia. So before that can happen, designers have to have in mind that we need to work more with this identical piece. Don't get me wrong, you can work with anything, any fabric, any texture that you want to work with to explore your work. Everybody have their own place of specialization. But you should be able to work with the country club to give it a unique look so that people out there should be able to recognize that identical piece to be Liberia own.
There is no game short of challenges. Considering the fact that you've gotten into this, it requires a lot of attention, it requires resources.
Right.
Can you tell us what are the challenges?
First, I would like to make people out there understand that in life, to reach your goal, there will be a lot of challenges facing you. Even to go through the process of high school, university, there will be a lot of challenges facing you. So, as a designer, when I all started this business, I never take it to be anything easy. I know there will be a lot of challenges. So what I did, I prepared myself from within by getting a passion for it. Not just putting myself in this identical cycle to be a designer, but I also have a hard passion for it. So that whenever challenges comes to me, I'll be able to face it. Trust me, we have an economy that is very small, and most often people focus on Monrovia to be everything, Monrovia and outside Liberia. But people out there in the rural counties don't have this opportunity to see these things. So if you do your work, you will have few amount of people purchasing your work because the population is low. And once the population is low, you won't have more income. But yet and still, once you give the best work out there, you have people from different part of the world, put in the order for me and they get it. But when it comes to the challenges, there are so many challenges.
Can you tell us an instance, particularly in this relative challenges, that you've been able to overcome, despite all the thoughts that came through that it wouldn't have been possible? Can you give us one instance?
Right. I remember it was a few years back when I received a contract from someone and then they wanted me to use certain material. I needed that money, don't get me wrong. I needed the money so bad because I had project going on. But they wanted me to use certain material, but at the time, it wasn't in the market because we don't have a factory. We don't have nowhere to manufacture fabric and texture. So because I needed the money, I couldn't allow the money to go. What I did, I was able to convince this person to use another fabric that looks similar to what they wanted. And we used that identical fabric, and trust me, the outcome was very elegant than what the person was looking for. So I'm trying to say that because we don't have because we don't have more material within Liberia, so you will find that sometimes customers just see things on the internet and then they bring it to you and say, I want this identical thing. But trust me, that fabric texture is not in your contract. So how can you get it? And without you doing the person justice to give them the raw material they need, you can get a contract. So because we don't have no manufacturer, no factories, nothing, so we struggle every day to put our best into outfit.
Do Africa followed that you did an outfit named Blamado outfit? Did you ever have it?
Oh yeah, I remember when I did that outfit, because normally the only time I have for myself to sew for myself is at night. During the day, I use the day to collect material, cut it off, and then at night, I start to work. It was 3 o'clock in the night. And then I slept to the shop because most often I sleep to the shop to work. So I slept to the shop, it was 3 o'clock in the night. And I needed to go somewhere early in the morning. But what I needed to wear at home, I just couldn't wear it because it wasn't clean. Because normally in the Liberia setting, you have to work from Monday to Saturday, get the things cleaned up. Monday you start again. So what I wanted to wear at the moment wasn't ready. So I said, well, how can I go out to this ethnic event and I need to be looking good? So I have a thought in mind, let me do a short pants. I've never worn a short pants in public, never. That was the first time I wore short pants. So let me do a short pants. I did a short pants. Okay, how can I match a short pants with something that will be looking good on me since this is my first try? I said, okay, let me just look for something. And I was online, scrolling online, and then I came across Blamado, like the cover page of that book. And when I saw it, that guy was looking so unique in it. So I said, let me give it a try. And I selected the same old shirt that Blamado used, Marshall wore pants, and just how Blamado stood on that identical picture of the cover, I said, let me try this. I know people will laugh at me, but let me give it a try. When I came out, people laughed. People say, you're too tiny to wear this suit, but with all this little criticism that also came as a motivation, there are more people who were on my comment section giving me a round of applause. So I decided to.
Yeah, that's a question I wanted to ask you, because when you mentioned Blamado in Liberia, the understanding is such that there is something negative about it, most especially in the education sector. Yeah. Oh, I mean, of high age, lower grade, not doing well in all of those things. And sometimes they even want to tie around people who are not performing
good,
you know,
yeah.
well.
And then, because I linked that with the challenge that I have, because as I said, I've never worn a short pants to leave my house, to even go in the community, never. But, so I took that as a challenge that I thought that was a setback for me, or let's say taboo for me to wear the short pants to go out. As it seemed, it was a taboo for Blamado to leave that class to go to another class. So I just grabbed that concept and said, let me do something unusual. It was just how it came about. And since then, Blamado is trending gradually. Production are being made very fast. Most people putting for it, and gradually we're moving on.
In some cases, some fashion designers become very selective when it comes to who becomes their client or clients. So, who does you work with? Women, men, children, or a particular age range? You tell us. What?
Okay. As for me, I don't have no special gender that I work with, no age range that I work with. I work with anyone who come to me and they want me to do an outfit for them, because if you trust my ability to get certain things done for you, it's my bond duty to make it happen. So I don't have no special age, no special gender to do things for. But don't get me wrong, everybody have their specialty. So most of my customers, 70% of my customers are male. Because of what I put out there, I use myself to be a mousse for my own brand. I wear my things a lot because I want to catch the attention of people out there. So most of my peers, whenever they see something on me, the identical look, people want me producing that identical thing for them. So most of my customer comes in to be men.
Yeah, but you also got men of ages. You got the elderly persons, people of bit older age range, you got young people, just like that. So what's the category? I mean, do you work for everybody?
I work for everybody. I've done a lot of work for more government officials, like radio personalities, or case 1, 2, 3, just name it, all ages. Almost most Liberian artists within the industry, I work with them, so I don't have a special range. I just work for anybody who believes in my ability to make their appearance look amazing.
Okay. The use of straps as your brand aesthetics, how do you look at it? Is this something of relevance, and what can you tell us about it?
As for the use of scraps, recently the scraps came into the market and started to be a little popular, but few people who noticed that. So at one point I went in the market to get a fabric, as I do every morning, and then I saw this identical fabric hanging, so I took it for myself. When I took 1 yard from there to do something just for myself, I never knew what really I want, but I just took it just in case, because I like the material how it looked, and at the point I only saw 2. So when I produced my first kimono, that's a long jacket, almost like the Japanese people wear. That's a long jacket. When I produce it and then I put it out there, I receive a lot of comments, people talking about it, that they like it. So I told myself, but I can use this identical fabric mold to make it a symbol that whenever people see this identical fabric, they will know that someone always producing this identical fabric to make their outfit. So that's what I did. I used the scraps mold to produce more outfit. But normally the scraps normally go with suits, be it short, long, but when it comes to dress, based on how the pattern goes. But I use scraps. I'm using scraps now as a symbol that cover my brand, to make my brand have a unique look. So I have to use this identical piece to give it a unique taste.
Have you had the chance of doing something for celebrities in the country or outside of this country?
Oh yeah, as I said,
can you give a few names?
I've worked with artists both Liberia, also Liberia. I've worked with Eric Geso. I've worked with tailor. I worked with Master Queen. I worked with CJ. I worked with Mr. Paul. I worked with Jyzno. I've worked with almost all the Liberian artists so far. In America, I work with Nose Natties. I work with a lot of people. The list is just too long, I just can't name all. I work with a lot of people in the Liberian entertainment industry. And I also star artists for the video. I also direct the music video. I work with like a lot of Liberian artists.
This suggests that you are in a very suitable position to speak that you're making a lot of money. Is that true?
Sometimes people normally judge you by what they see on social media, but it's not really true. But trust me, I'm grateful. I'm grateful. It's not that I make a lot of money, but just that I do a lot of sacrifices. Because sometimes I will go on a video scene and I will spend 2-3 days there. I will leave my busy schedule at day and then cover a whole aspect of a video, and I have to go home at night to rest. But trust me, sometimes the work is not free because I need to sustain myself too. But I'm not demanding a high pay as you would pay another director or image consultant to be on your work. So it's not about a lot of money, it's about the dream of changing Liberian arts entertainment industry.
Okay, we're closely drawing to an end to this, but the question also will follow that, as much as the passion is of relevance, you need to survive.
Right.
And you yourself, now you are a brand.
Right.
Others out there in Nigeria and other places make tens of thousands of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions.
Yeah.
So how do you look forward to getting yourself on such par?
Gradually, Liberian entertainment industry is building up. Gradually, the economy is building up. People out there in Nigeria make a lot of money because the industry is very big. Because you cannot want this identical person to work on your project if you give him a certain amount. Because the industry is big, there is more money pumping in. But as for Liberia, most of these guys, they are struggling to push the work out there. So when it comes to you, they are not coming because they have hard money to pay. It's because they believe in your talent. But don't get me wrong. Anything that you do 100% free, people don't value you. So there should be a price tag attached to you. So when it comes, tell them that this is what we can work with. If you can provide that, we can go on. If you can't provide that, you should have something in that range that we can be able to work with to give the best of work. So we are not doing it free. But there should be a compensation that you will be able to bring to the table that we can be able to work with. But I've done a lot of free work for most people out there.
But owing to the fact that this job takes a lot of time, right. Somebody will care to know, do you have fiancé, a wife? I mean, as to whether you have the time between this you are doing and if, you know, something like family life.
Oh yeah. I do have a fiancé, I have a wife, and then...
A fiancé and a wife, let's get it right. Do you have a wife or you have a fiancé?
I have a wife.
A wife, you're married?
I'm married.
Okay, let's get it right.
Right. So, I don't take my personal time to flip it on to my business schedule. I create a time interval that I can work with. So within the 24 hour, within the day, I would definitely use 2 to 3 hours to be able to focus on my family and family. By the rest of the hours, be it sleeping or working or resting or being out there, I will use those identical time to focus on the things that I'm supposed to focus on. But don't get me wrong, I don't use all these 3 hours just together like that. Probably I will talk to you maybe 1 hour or 30 minutes. I have to come back to check on her to know how she's doing, how she's coming on, and all that stuff.
You can reflect, I'm very optimistic, of the years back when we were not even born, the 1960s, back 1950s, sometimes even early 1970s, when people had this sort of action wherein that you see the pants will be very big and you see the shirts are always like a bit small. But you see, guys, they were the best at that time.
Right.
How can you connect such a time with this sort of modern time that you have a lot of technology, you know, infused into a lot of work into?
Great. Basically, fashion is a trend that never dies, and style is something that keeps repeating itself, but all level, a time and a generation. For everything people wore out there before, people is still wearing it now, but just that they add a little taste towards it. So connecting the old days to that of the new day, in fashion, you have to understand who you're working with, which material you're using, which occasion you're going for, and how you want to look out there. I just did a video by Jyzno. I just directed a video, Jyzno and tailor, and then a scene where in that identical video that I have to bring back the old days to make the video unique. So what I did, we had this artist opening his hair, wearing a big pants, an Air Force One, and a shirt. But you will, as soon as you see that scene, you will definitely know that it's something of the old. But the person within that identical outfit is behaving modern. That is the connection. The outfit is one thing and the behavior of a person in that identical fitting is another thing. So you can still connect the old days with that of the new day.
It's been a very, very wonderful time having with you. Tell us the platforms through which people can reach you.
Thank you very much for having me on this great platform. I'm well privileged to be here, and it's a pleasure working with you guys, and I look forward to see you guys reaching out there, exploding your dream, so that we all can have the best of Africa, because your dream is not only Liberia but also Africa and the rest of the world. So I look out there to see you guys exploding and making the best of what you are doing. Thank you very much.
How can you be guided? The platforms out there, the social media, what are those platforms who can get you through?
Facebook, I goes by the name Patmol Cole. Instagram, Patmol Cole. Twitter, Patmol Cole. So every social media, I have my own official page, which is my personal page. It's Patmol Cole. My business page is Africano Design. Both Facebook, Instagram is Africano Design. So when you want to contact me for business, it's Africano Design. Personal is Patmol Cole.